What is up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another RuneScape 3 Iron Man progression update. Let's get Iron Man. Alright, everybody, welcome back. We are currently starting here off at the player-owned farms, where I'm going to be taking care of my sheep along with my bees. However, I didn't get any levels from the sheep, but I got some massive gains from over here at the beehives. A whole 3 levels. We got to 45 farming, which is huge. Alright, I'm back here at the city of where I'll be getting my levels up to level 70 Necromancy first of all. And while I'm doing these rituals, I'm using the wool to go ahead and make the unsold thread that I need for my Necromancy robes. Now I have level 60 Necromancy robes. As you're aware, I have level 70 Necromancy, which means I should be at 70 Necromancy armor and weapons. However, I got some quests that I need to do to be able to do the quests that I am needed to get those robes that I need. The first quest on my list was Ghost Ahoy, so I need to go gather some supplies for Ghost Ahoy. Okay, the first thing I needed to do was make some ecto tokens. So I took some bones that I had and went over to the grinder and grinded up all of my bones. And then I went down to the bottom of the basement where a bunch of slime would be and gathered a bunch of slime. Up next was to take the bones and the slime to the altar of the Lord Necromancy person that I cannot pronounce to save my life, and start creating these ecto tokens. Next up was to just collect it from the ghost, and now I had the tokens. So one of the items I'm going to need is red dye. So I needed to go find some dye, or red berries should I say, which was for me to go pickpocket the master farmer over here in Draenor. It seemed like I was doing a lot better at stealing from this master farmer, and I got the red berry seed, which means it was time to head over to the Champions Guild and wait a long time, it felt like, to get the red berries that I needed for the red dye. The only thing left to do was to turn these into Aggie, where I can get the dyes that I need. Alright, it's time to start the quest Ghost Ahoy. In this quest, we'll learn about how the port was once a thriving port until Lord Draken decided, well, it's time to take control of this port, and he pretty much wiped them clean. During the time, a man named Necromancer, which is the lord I literally forgot about earlier, by the way, the name that I pretended like I didn't know how to pronounce. Yeah, that guy. Well, let's just say he took over and made them Draken's minions and built a temple for the Funtus, however you say it, ecto tokens, you know the stuff where you go and put bones in, crush them with the slime, and you get tokens. Yeah, that. Well, that being said, we're going to do something about it instead of him torturing all these poor souls here. Alright, so I went to talk to Necromancer and gave him a choice to let all these souls go, or else we will do something about it. However, of course, he chose the choice of no. He is not going to release any of these souls because this is his empire that he's creating. So we gave him a choice. What can you do? He said no. Now it's time to do something about it. Let's put action into words. Went back to Valerina and we came up with a plan. I'll be returning to, well, an old friend of hers actually. So yeah, Valerina mentioned a old friend of hers named Nettie, which is located in Mortania. She is still living, luckily. So I'm going to go talk to her and see what we can do about this whole situation. She knew something. She was also a disciple for Necromancer at one point in a given time. So she must know something. Let's go check this out. I went over to Nettie and asked, hey, do you know any way to defeat Necromancer? She had a trouble remembering a way to defeat him. However, upon me giving her some tea with some milk and a very specific cup, she remembered. She does not know the enchantment per se, but she remembers a book that can defeat him. And based on my understanding, her son was a pirate, and I just needed to go and retrieve the said book. She gives me a toy to take up there. I needed to fix it up, of course. Take some paint and, you know, with the dye that I brought with me, and fix it up. I gave it to the boy, and he gave me a map piece. I also crossed some rocks, and there was a chest there with another map piece. Once more, I opened up a chest. Surprise attack, a giant lobster. I don't know how it's still alive, being in that chest for so long. However, I wish it was dead so I could eat it. But I did kill it, and I went into the chest and grabbed it. But I had no time to lose. I needed to get back and figure out what I need to do to defeat Necromancer. So the map told me upon constructing it that I need to go to Dragon Tooth Island. So that's exactly where I went. So I'm over at Dragon Tooth Island, and I am searching left and right according to the map, and I finally found it. And I have no idea how to read this. But returning to the ports, I did see some foreign person that looks like a samurai that may be able to help. I'm not sure where he's from, though, in Gillinor. He only asked that I get a signed oak bow from Robin Hood. So I went over to the inn and pretty much dueled Robin Hood in Rune Draw. Beating him several times. It took 4 times to beat him because he kept wanting to win his money back. I finally got the signature and was able to give the foreign man his bow. He translates it for me, and it was time to return to Nettie. But before I go get this amulet enchanted, I needed to give Necromancer one last chance. I went over to the innkeeper to grab some sheets and was able to go to the slime down in the bottom of the ectoplasma and stain it with green. I wrapped myself up with the ectoplasmic sheets and started talking to the news person, and basically we were signing a petition around the ports. We were able to get 10 signatures and went over back to Necromancer and attempted to persuade him. However, it did not go very well, and he ends up getting very angry and dropping the key, leaving my opportunity to go back upstairs, sneak into where his coffin is, and take some robes from him, because I need the robes for this enchantment. Alright, you know the deal. It was time to return to Nettie and get this amulet enchanted and pretty much free all of the ports. And at that point, that was quest complete, where I will receive 2 quest points, 2,400 prayer experience, free passage into the port Phasmitis, whatever, the ectophile, which is nice because that means I can teleport closer to the farms. I love it. This left me with 49 quest points. Now it's time to get some Slayer tasks done. My next task was to slay harpy bugs. I got the level 50 Slayer, which is huge. I'm getting closer and closer to getting the Slayer tasks that I need for some more seeds, and I can't wait to get there. Our return to Xanaros got the task of slaying crawling hands, which is probably the worst task that I could get from this Slayer master. But regardless, I did do this task and nothing happened really, no drops really, other than a very tiny bit of charms. And yeah, that's really it. I mean, the task was complete, so that's what matters. Alright, I'm going to wrap this video up here. But first, here are the bank and stats. I'm hoping to get more supplies and levels in the next week's episode. Regardless, be sure to hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!